Hello and welcome. My name is Jen Roscoe, and it's 10 a.m. So we're gonna go ahead and start the class. I'm just gonna work on admitting people. One sec. Admit. Okay. Hello, welcome. Welcome. So glad you're here. Thank you for joining. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. Well, my name is Jen Roscoe, and I'm a counselor with the Montana Public Health Training Center under the Wellness Program. And today I'm so excited to be teaching on meaningful change. This is my wheelhouse as a therapist, and it's just great to see so many people that I have been in so many of the classes, so thanks again for signing up and coming in. I'm just admitting people right now. Our other administrator is ill, so I'm going to be kind of doing her job at the same time as um, letting people in as well. Great. Okay. Okay, so let's get started. There's so much content to get through. And again, this is something that I deal with all the time as a counselor. Clients are often coming to me seeking professional help. They're ready for change, and but some may not be ready to begin their journey. And so we're going to go into that as well today. But for change to happen, there needs to be an alliance that's created between the client and the counselor to focus on their strengths and just kind of invoke that readiness for change. So, not everyone uses a counselor for change, and that's okay. And so, this class it's designed for you to tap into some tools yourself to help yourself shift perspectives for meaningful change. And we're just going to explore today how to create that readiness for change and how to support yourself on that journey. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Let's see if my computer's going to work. Yay! Um, okay, so the learning objectives today, what I want to go through is, what is behavioral change? What is it look like? And I always like starting with at least a 1 minute breathing exercise just to allow us to get settled into the space we are. And I'm sure many of you, had a busy morning this morning. So we'll start with that. And then I want to go into what readiness for change is. Also, model for change that's used in therapy, and it's used in all kinds of stuff too. So, not just therapists. Um, Again, I love sharing about brain hacks that you can do to help shift yourself through your day. I want to go over 3 different steps that are kind of helpful for change. And each one of these steps, actually, I could spend an entire day on one step teaching. So it's going to be, not as much information as I want to share, but I did upload a ton of resources that are in the portal when you came in. And so, yeah, go ahead and check out those resources. And at the end of this, I'm going to go into some rejuvenation, which is mindfulness, and get you settled as you go into the rest of your day. So again, if you're just arriving, my name is Jen Roscoe. I'm a counselor with the Montana Public Health Training Center under the Wellness Program. And yeah, you're here for meaningful change. So let's get cracking. Okay. Okay, so we're just going to begin today just to get settled. And this is just a 1 minute breathing technique. It's the 4-7-8 technique. And this is basically breathing in for 4 seconds, holding for 7 seconds, and then allowing that air out slowly for 8 seconds. And this is science. This will relax you. This will allow you to get settled and get grounded. And I've uploaded this 1 minute one, but there's also a 5 minute one. If you need that, you can go to our YouTube channel and just breathe if you need to and take a break in your day. Okay, well, go ahead and I'm going to push play and let's just take a moment. Okay, thanks for doing that with me. Okay, so let's get into the content and move on. Okay. Oops. So, readiness for change. Yeah, we're not always ready for change. And behavioral change, it's about altering habits and behaviors, and we're hoping for the long run. And the majority of research, it's really in the health-related behaviors indicate that small changes work the best. And these can lead to enormous improvements in people's mental health and also life expectancy. People live longer if they're less stressed. So knowing if you're ready for change, there's a lot of things to look at. And usually you can kind of tap into your inner self and see what's going on for you. But this change, it can be initiated at an individual level, societal, or, in the organizational level. And understanding where you're at can help you and also those involved understand it a little bit better. So, this change, there's a lot of different things at an individual level. It's good to look at, what the issue or the problem is that someone needs, focusing on how you feel, and also, what is going on in your life. And there's some key questions that can kind of support this. One is understanding behavior. So what is it that you're trying to solve? What are the behaviors that need change? And what will it take to make that desired change happen? And so there's a lot of different interventions that you can go into. If you're working with a counselor, they're trained in this. They have so many interventions in their back pocket. They're gonna keep pulling out to see what fits for you. And it's usually custom. This isn't like this, it blankets everyone. Everyone is unique, and finding out what the specific intervention should be. It could be as little as, packing your bag for the gym the night before, if you're trying to get up and exercise again. Or intervention could be as easy as like finding a new path through your office to avoid, where there may be a cooler where office workers are gossiping, if you're trying to decrease that. Just looking at everything about what are the ways you can identify, and also just implement options for yourself. And so there's a lot of things to consider, readiness for change. And usually, I really invite people to tap into themselves and notice where you're at right now, and trust yourself. Listen to yourself. No one can make you ready. A lot of us, we change either through crisis, or we really come to an awareness or an insight that change needs to happen. So it's kind of like you can be forced to do it, or you can move into understanding within yourself that, okay, now it's time for a change with this. And so, yeah, readiness for change is kind of the first thing I wanted to go into. The next thing I want to go into, this is the trans theoretical model of change. And I'm going to just start this video. This is a theory that's used in counseling, but can be used in lots of different areas as well.
What if I told you there were strategies for holding on to habits until they became a part of your life? What if I told you that psychologists have actually found a set of steps that increases the likelihood of actually making a change in your life? Well, they have. And in this video, I'm going to go through each stage of something called the trans-theoretical model. This model serves as a how-to guide for adopting a new habit or changing your life, based on psychological research. People who successfully move through the first 5 steps of this model are much more likely to actually stick to their goals and adopt positive habits. This information is useful whether you want to quit smoking, whether you want your partner to go to the gym more often, or any other habit that you want in your life. Understand these steps of change and you can help transition yourself or others into a more positive, happy, and healthy person moving forward. So, what are the stages of change? Now, this model was developed in the 1970s by James Prochaska and Carlo Di Clemente. Prochaska and Di Clemente had been studying people who tried to quit smoking. They found that simply taking action didn't actually set people up for long-term success. They had to want to quit smoking before they could take appropriate action and actually stick to their goals. Permanently changing a behavior or picking up a habit does not happen overnight. Some of these steps will last for months at a time before a person is ready to move forward. If you want to see a loved one quit a bad habit or start a new one, it's important to be patient with them. And even if your loved one is in denial, they might be in the first stage of the trans-theoretical model, and this means there's an opportunity for them to move forward. So step 1 is called pre-contemplation. The first step of the model is a pre-contemplation stage. A person in the pre-contemplation stage may be months away from actually taking action. They might not believe that taking action will actually be worth their time. They try to weigh the pros and cons of starting a new habit. They will downplay the pros. So think about some habits that you know are good for you. Maybe you think that a vegan diet would help you reduce your carbon footprint, but you don't think that the high prices of produce or saying goodbye to dairy is worth the switch. At this point, you would be in the pre-contemplation stage. More research is needed before you can fully get on board with the idea that veganism is a worthy lifestyle choice. It's time to ask yourself some questions about your health, your diet, and your carbon footprint. Now, in order to move out of the pre-contemplation stage, the person needs to look within. A shift in perspective is necessary before the person can see that their actions are hurting themselves in the long run. They may have a hunch that a change needs to be made, but the brevity of their current actions just isn't apparent to them. But after it does, they move on to step 2, which is contemplation. Once a person really starts to think about the consequences of their actions or inactions, they enter the contemplation stage. Now, many people stay in this stage for months or sometimes even years. They understand that their behavior is hurting themselves or others, and they can see themselves making a change within the next 6 months of their lives. But something is still holding them back. For many people, they still have a skewed view of change that prevents them from moving further. They see change as losing or giving up a habit that has been part of their whole life or whole identity. This overshadows the benefits of gaining a new habit. For example, smokers tend to marinate in this phrase for a long time. They understand that smoking is bad for their lungs, but smoking also provides a way to socialize or de-stress. And smokers have a really hard time accepting the idea that they will have to have a coffee without a cigarette, or they can't take a smoke break when things get hectic at work. So how do you get out of this contemplation stage? Identify the things that are holding you back. Does the loss of a cigarette with your coffee really outweigh gaining the ability to take a job without losing your breath? Or does the annoyance of moving your schedule around outweigh the benefits you'll gain from going to the gym in the morning? Continue to look at the pros and cons of changing your behavior. Sometimes strategic thinking helps with this. When you get to a point where you feel confident to move forward, validate your readiness and confirm that it's time to change. Next, we can move on to step 3, and that is preparation. Okay, so what happens when a person has decided that they're going to make a change? When it comes to the example like smoking, many people start with reducing the amount of cigarettes they smoke. Now, this is normal. Small changes are part of the third stage of change, preparation. People in the preparation stage are fully ready to make a big change within the upcoming month. They understand the benefits of the change and they want to move forward. But rather than diving in headfirst, they usually just test the waters of change to see what it's like. Now, this is an exciting opportunity to prepare yourself or someone else to make the leap. Enjoy this time in this preparation stage. The more prep work that you do, the easier it will be to transition into action and maintenance phases. So you can set yourself up for success by doing research on upcoming obstacles that you might face and how other people have moved past them. You can also create something called SMART goals for yourself. And something else that is helpful is looking up alternative plans of action in case your actions do not work out. The more knowledge you have moving forward, the easier it will be to evaluate failures and move forward after successes. But after the preparation stage, we have step 4, which is action. Reducing the amount of cigarettes you smoke is a small step. Putting down the pack for good is a giant leap. And at this point, a person has entered the action stage. It's important to remember that the first 3 steps provide a foundation for the action stage. Quitting cold turkey just moments after watching a documentary about the dangers of smoking works for a few people, but it's not guaranteed that everyone will successfully quit smoking that way. Pre-contemplation, contemplation, and preparation are extremely important steps. After all, you have to want and know that it's time to change. If you think about it, this is why New Year's resolutions don't always work out. We make these resolutions in December and give ourselves less than a month, sometimes even less than a week, to prepare. Without a plan of action or a support group, action only leads to insurmountable obstacles. Preparation helps to prepare for those obstacles and have a plan, not if, when you encounter them. But the preparation and the research doesn't just stop when the action phase begins. If you're ready to take action, know that your journey is far from over. You should continue to seek out support groups and other outside resources. And whenever you do encounter success, be sure to reward yourself. Now, usually the action stage lasts for around 3 to 6 months, in which the person will likely face multiple obstacles and sometimes dance with relapsing or going back into old behaviors and habits. Next, we have step 5, which is called maintenance. Once a person has kept up with their change, whatever that is, for at least 6 months, they enter the maintenance stage of change. Now, relapse is still possible, but a person in the maintenance stage feels more confident in their ability to stick to their change in behavior. For any habit, temptation will continue to pop up during this phase, and if you want to avoid a relapse, it's important to know that these temptations exist and to have a plan to avoid them. It's also important to know that relapses may happen. The more honest you stay with yourself about this possibility, the easier it will actually be to recover whenever a relapse happens. Lastly, we have step 6, which is relapse. Because relapses happen, they just do. When it comes to substance abuse, the relapse rate falls between 40 and 60%. It can be hard, even after 6 months or 5 years, to avoid temptation, because falling back on old behaviors is normal. What you do after a relapse, though, will determine whether or not you stay in the model and continue to change. For example, shaming yourself for relapse is not always healthy. Taking the time to honestly look at what triggered the relapse, though, that is very healthy. Look closely at what barriers you face and when those barriers become too much. Now, this information can help you moving forward. It's always important to keep your vision in mind. Pull what you learned from the first 3 stages of the trans-theoretical model, and then you can start over again. I know this video may have been a little much, but I know there's a lot of people wanting to learn about the trans-theoretical model, and I hope this video helps shed some light on it. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I definitely hope you've learned something. If you have any questions about this model, feel free to leave a comment below or check out some of my other videos in the social psychology series. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. What if I told you there were strategies for holding...
Okay. So yeah, the trans-theoretical model, this is the most commonly used theoretical clinical framework that's used, and not only in mental health, but it's also used across the board for cancer screening, but it's often used with alcohol abuse, addiction, weight control, exercise. I mean, you can use it for school bullying, even sunscreen use. There's a lot of ways to use it. And so if you're working with populations, I did put in the resources, links to more information to this model, just for you to reference. Okay, let's move on. So prepping for meaningful change, this is where we come in, and I'm going to go through 4 different things real quick before we get into some more juicy stuff with change. But yeah, we already started today with breathing. We just did 1 minute, and this was it's an excellent calming strategy. But just notice, what are your calming strategies that you already have? And if you're working with populations, checking in with them to see what works for them, how they can reset their nervous system. I'm going to go into how to hack your brain in 60 seconds. We're going to focus on internal and external focusing, and then also a growth mindset. So next, I love teaching about the science of brains and what you can do to help yourself shift. And so this is another video that I created that's on our website. And we're just going to get this going now. Welcome if you just arrived too. Hello and welcome. My name is Jen Roscoe. I'm a counselor with the Montana Public Health Training Center under the Wellness Program. And today's tip and tool is focused on... Okay, so the science is really pretty cool. When you hold a thought for more than 60 seconds, it creates a synapsis. And if you create that, then a like-minded thought will attach to that thought, and it creates a new pathway system within your brain. How cool is that? So it's a little bit like exercise. If you shift a little bit with your expectations, a little shift in making a mindful choice will help you feel so much better within these patterns of thinking. So the neat thing about our brain is that it's so practical that if you are having a thought that's about an old situation that feels tough, or negative, or even sharp, then your brain will just think that moment's happening in the now. It literally is that practical. So when you activate an idea or a thought or a memory about something in the past, your brain usually reacts and thinks it's happening right now, and the rest of your system will move into that reaction, which is feeling stressed or feeling sad or whatever the emotion is tied to that memory. So when you have thoughts on the opposite end of that stick, your brain thinks that it's happening right now too. Even if it's a memory or an appreciation of something anticipated in the future, your brain is so practical that it literally moves you into feeling that feeling in the now, even though it's in the future, or if it's in the past. So it's pretty mind-blowing. Knowing that you can create your reality in the present moment and finding thoughts that feel good, you can build more good-feeling emotions that can really change how you feel. And this affects your health. It affects your relationships, and this echoes beyond yourself, because usually when you feel happiness, then you're feeling light, you're feeling a little bit more peace, and you're feeling just better internally. And this usually ripples out to the other people around you. All right. Yes. So isn't that amazing? And if you think about it, you can move into an emotion when you think about something that's hard in your past, just like that. We often have other things that trigger our emotions in the present moment, including that are sensory. For some people, it smells. I know that whenever I smell lavender, it reminds me of when I lived in Eugene, Oregon, and I had an obsession with lavender. And I just go back to that time period, which was back in 1998. So we can trigger our memories and our thoughts, which bring up an emotional reaction within our system. And so it's helpful to think about, well, how do you want to feel? What are you triggering throughout your day? And we actually tend to think about 90% of the same stuff every single day, just kind of repeats and cycles through. And so noticing what you think about is really helpful for change, because if you are just repeating the same sort of thoughts that bring up the same emotions, then change can be a little bit harder. So just noticing what are you thinking about most of the time? And then if you have a thought that pops in, how can you shift it? And so these are the little pivots that you can make throughout your day that are really helpful. And we can't often shift and jump from like feeling really gross and grumpy to feeling like blissed out and happy. That doesn't work. And so notice that if you're not feeling good, it's a little bit easier to shift with a thought that's a little bit more neutral. And so jumping, from complete sadness to total happiness, it isn't logical and it just won't work. And so just moving yourself up that emotional ladder is helpful. And just taking one step at a time with a neutral thought, or even just changing your thoughts, getting out of that room, going for a walk, doing something else that's going to just allow your brain to soften, and you can come back to that when you're feeling a little bit better, whatever the thought is. And so it's really important not to make decisions out of these places when we're not feeling good. That's really hard for change, because we often, if we make a choice from a place when we're not feeling good, it usually doesn't work out in the end as well. And so just notice if you're not feeling okay, it's okay to not feel okay. It's okay to feel grumpy. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to move through whatever emotion is. And when you're ready to pivot and change, try to do it with a neutral thought, and that's a little bit more helpful. Okay, so with that, meaningful change, it's really helpful to focus on your own internal focus. We're often really pulled by what others think about us, what society wants, and all these external influences that are outside of us. They really can be hard on our system. And so noticing about what you can control, this kind of shifts us into more of a growth mindset. You're more likely to take responsibility for your actions and move into change if you focus internally. Um, People also, they tend to be less influenced by others, by other people, if they're focusing internally. And it's just helpful, because then you can build up a stronger self-efficacy and move into feeling more confident. And this helps us be healthier, because we're not activating stress within our system. When we activate cortisol, or the stress hormone that's released, our body works so hard to help us feel better, and it's hard on our system. That's how that can lead to getting sick. Stress doesn't really help our health much, and so noticing your internal focus versus external focus is helpful, because people tend to just feel less helpless too, or powerless when there's a difficult situation. So notice about what your focus is, and moving into a growth mindset is really helpful for meaningful change. Okay, I'm gonna let a few more people in. Welcome. Okay, let's keep moving on. So I want to go through some steps for meaningful change that are helpful, and these are laced throughout lots of other ways of change. I want to go into acceptance, and how that is the first door you go through in moving into change, is accepting what's going on, surrendering all the chaos, and moving into shaking hands with what's going on. Intention is really powerful as well. And this kind of helps us move into a creation phase, and creating what we want with our life. And then, yeah, resilience. What is resilience anyway? It's such a buzzword right now. But this is kind of moving into action and ways you can take steps in that way. So let's start with acceptance. Um, Acceptance is so powerful, and it's one of the first choices that we make when we're ready for change. It can really be defined as the ability to accept a situation that's playing out that you may not have any control over. And, there's a lot of signs for a lack of acceptance, and we can see it in our language all the time. Saying things like, uh, things shouldn't be like this, things should be different. This is, oftentimes you can notice your language is signaling to yourself that you haven't moved into acceptance. And so let's go into what acceptance is, and then also some really cool strategies for helping you build and strengthen that ability to move into acceptance. Hello and welcome. My name is Jen Roscoe. I'm a counselor with the Montana Public Health Training Center under the Wellness Program. And today's tip and tool is focused on acceptance. Acceptance is super powerful because it usually helps you move into letting go of bitterness and unhelpful emotions. This can be super powerful because whenever we accept the situation, we're usually moving into shaking hands with what is, which means we're moving out of denial and we're acknowledging our emotions instead of denying them or moving into avoidance or ignoring. Some people may not want to move into acceptance because they may feel that if they accept that they are agreeing with what's going on. However, when you move into acceptance, this is signaling a new paradigm. It's a chance for hope because you're accepting things as they are and not fighting against reality. Acceptance is not always easy. And today I have some tools for you in moving in towards ways that you can incorporate this practice into your life and help yourself strengthen this ability. Reminding yourself that most things are outside of our control. Externally, nearly everything is outside of our control. And so it's helpful when you understand that this may be completely beyond your control. That can help people move into acceptance as well. Imagination is super powerful, and it's a strategy you can use for acceptance. Imagining what things would be like if you did accept the situation can help you shift as well. This will release some resistance in your system and also help you move into allowing. Using relaxation techniques such as mindfulness, stretching, breathing, these are powerful strategies for helping you move into acceptance as well. And self-reflection is super helpful. If you have a journal, get it out and move through the process of noticing what's coming up for you. Allow yourself to safely feel your emotions. When is a time that you can bracket in some time to just feel what's coming up for you? Who else can support you through this? How can you find time to feel the emotions that are within your system that are related to the situation? And so practicing these strategies of acceptance will help bring you into the here and now. All right. So acceptance is, one of those things that we often skip and it's hard to not do. And you may have noticed there's several strategies you can tap into. This one on noticing what you control and what you can't control. And if you're working with populations as well, this is a really helpful tool in helping people understand. Because that feeling of being out of control, that is what will release that cortisol in your system and create more stress. So noticing that really nearly everything is out of our control that's external. The traffic, the weather, your mother-in-law, your kids, there's so many things. And so what you can control are your reactions, the way you feel, how you want to take care of yourself, and noticing how you want to feel. This can help you move into feeling better. And this, if you have a basis of this and are noticing this throughout your day, you can help yourself shift and feel better and make choices that are going to support the meaningful change that you want to take. I love this tool too. This is one I use all the time, every day, basically. This is an acceptance tool called Yes and. And so acceptance, saying yes is that piece of acceptance. And so, yeah, we have stuff that happens to us that's not good. It's hard and it's annoying. And in that moment, you may feel really bad, and that's okay to feel those feelings in that moment. And so feel the feelings. Notice if you have a toddler and they're screaming their head off in the grocery line and you're just trying to get out of there and you got two other kids you're trying to hold on to, noticing that you're feeling super frustrated, annoyed, starting to get angry, like, yeah, notice that, feel that. And then how can you pivot? And so noticing that moment, yes, this sucks. This is hard. The kids are losing it. I'm tired. I just want to get out of here. And then find a way to do an and statement. If you can come up with three ands after you have negative emotions, this will help you pivot. This is a brain hack that works. If you can come up with three ands, you usually can help yourself kind of work your way up that emotional ladder that I was talking about earlier. And they're usually neutral. They're usually thoughts that are helpful. Some people move into their mantras, like this too will pass, everything is temporary, I got this, I can do hard things. Sometimes it's just helpful to come up with some mantras that you got in your back pocket that you've been practicing that you can pull out when you need them. And so some people may have some really interesting statements they have in their head that they don't even know where they got from. It might have been something their grandma said or their parents said. And so just notice what does your family of origin do in these moments? How do they shift? And there might be something kind of cool that you can pull from your family. Okay, yes, and I love that one. Okay, so this one, oh, I tried to do something fancy. Oh, it worked, yay. So this is moving into intention. This is creation. So getting clear or even helping a client if you're working with a population about what they want with their life. This is often like, really powerful because once you are noticing what you want in your life, then you can kind of move into this really fun phase of focusing and putting your attention on it. And so writing it down, making a collage, creating a visual affirmation that you can look at every single day. And this is so cool now that there's all this research on how this is affecting the brain. This is creating a mental picture of what you want your future to look like. And this is mental rehearsal. This is the same as a pro athlete that goes up to the free throw line to shoot that hoop. They are mentally rehearsing what they want in their life. And so think of it about, and you put it in that way, and also learning about the fact that neuroplasticity, sorry, I'm not saying that very well right now. This is our brain's ability to visualize success. It helps you reshape even and strengthen your neural pathways that are associated with the outcome that you want. And so this makes the brain more efficient. It helps you execute behaviors to achieve your goal. And it's really cool because it's rehearsal. You're noticing what you want. And if you can like physically do it in your brain, it's going to improve your performance. It's going to improve that change that you want. I'd also add in visualization with this. When you visualize an action that you want, your brain is also activating these neural patterns as if you were doing that activity in the now. The brain is so practical. Whatever's happening, it's happening right now. And so the studies are showing now that on scans that imaging, practicing, which is a skill just like playing the piano or whatever, it activates the motor cortex just exactly the same way than actual practice does. So this is a positive feedback loop. And so you're seeing yourself foster your motivation, you're seeing yourself improve your performance. And when you do this, this is activating a part of yourself that is softening anxiety. And it's also setting the stage up for your success as well. And so I highly recommend doing this. It's fun. And, you know, I was an art teacher for 15 years, and it's really powerful when you get from head to through your hand, your ideas and your creation, and bringing them to the surface so you can see them. Visual affirmation is it's cool that it's being studied now, and they're noticing how it's affecting. All right, let's see what do we got next. All right. So, I always like to include this. Some of you may know that I'm also an artist. I've been a visual artist for since 1998. And the science now with, I'm really interested in creation and how you get in that flow state of ideas, and also bringing in knowledge and information. And so the science now with bilateral brain stimulation, which is actually something that I am trained in with EMDR, the power of walking or doing anything that's bilateral is really helpful for creation as well and activating ideas. So check out this video. You also get to activate these two different parts of your brain. When you walk, you're using bilateral movements. And when you are doing anything that's bilateral, like biking or walking, you're activating both sides of your brain. So they're talking to each other. And so incorporating that with mindfulness while walking can help soften anxiety, help you feel more calm, and just improve your day. And the other added benefit is you can come into creative thoughts. You can come into problem solving. A lot of times people have that aha moment when they are walking in the forest. Let us know if this works for you, and there's more tips and tools on our website on the Montana Public Health Training Center under the Wellness Program. Thanks so much. All right, so bilateral movement is another strategy for creating, and yeah, it's also self-care. So if that's another one to put in your back pocket for working on meaningful change. So you know, you can't go into change without not talking about good old-fashioned goals. And a lot of you, I know you know about SMART goals. This is out there. And I've uploaded a SMART goal sheet that's in the resources. If you want to go into this more deeply, please download that and you can use it with your team. And you can go into those SMART goals. SMART goals, I mean, they do work. They are really cool. They move into what's specific, clearly defining what you want to achieve, setting those measurable goals that are achievable, moving into, you know, what's relevant, like what goals align with your values and what, you know, your career objectives are, or even whatever goal that you have. But also setting those timelines and looking at the time and getting those deadlines down when you actually want to achieve this goal. So if you want to go more into SMART goals, know that there's a resource for you there. And I want to just tap in for a second into intrinsic goals versus extrinsic. This kind of loops back to what I was teaching earlier about internal focus and external focus, because that intrinsic goal, this is related, you know, to your emotional intimacy. This is related to your personal growth. This is also related to helping others. And so the research shows that when you're aligned with an intrinsic goal, that's like you're being pulled from within forward, that this is really powerful. It's related to greater happiness actually, and also satisfaction with life. So notice if your goal is intrinsic. Does it come from within you, or is it coming from outside of you? Extrinsic goals, you know, they're more defined culturally. They're a little bit more focused on like physical appearance, social standing, status, or even wealth, and that's okay. But just notice what your goals, what they fall under, because the research there is really cool as well. Okay, I want to keep moving with time. I have so much stuff to share with you guys. So this is part of actionable steps. And also another tool that I threw in there that's kind of like the yes and to reframe. And reframing, you know, all these tools you can use with kids as well. So give it a shot. Sorry about that. It looks like that was not sharing correctly. I'm hoping everyone can hear me okay right now. Um,
We can hear
okay.
you now.
Okay, appreciate you. Thank you. All right, so let's move on. This is the final thing that I want to share on that's really powerful, and this is resilience. I have created maybe 5 videos on resilience that you can move into and learn more about. And so when you got in today on the portal, there are resources there underneath the class that I teach. And all the classes that I've taught, there's many resources that I put together for you that you can tap into. So this one is on resilience, and this is about your personal narrative. I really focusing on what are your strengths. And have you ever been around someone that, you know, they're just struggling to notice what's good in their life? This is a brain activation that we move into that's been created. We all do this. We all move into negative bias within ourselves. And so figuring out what is your personal narrative and then how can you edit that. When you talk about your life, do you focus on your struggles or your achievements? Do you frame setbacks or failures? What patterns do you notice when you show up? And so noticing these and recognizing these, this is really helpful for meaningful change because then you can look back at a recent setback. Maybe you missed that promotion, maybe there was a failed project, maybe someone just didn't understand what you were trying to share. And instead of moving into, I am just not good enough, you can move into what can I do? How can I learn? How can I do better next time? This reframing, it's not about pretending that everything's fine, not at all. You can really, when you acknowledge that things are tough, and then you can shift your focus, this moves you into a growth mindset, and this can help you move towards meaningful goal change. So let's see, we have enough time to move into our rejuvenation. Yay. So for this piece, let's see, we're going to move into rejuvenation, but first we're just going to quickly, I want to go over all the things I shared today. We started with what is behavioral change anyway, and moving into 1-minute breathing. I went into how you can ready yourself for change or even notice, are you ready for change? The trans-theorical model for change, this is helpful for any of you that are working with populations. There's lots of brain hacks. And then those 3 steps for change, there's a lot of interventions within those 3. So if you want to throw in the chat something that was helpful today, something that's new, or even something that you do this all the time and you know this, you know that this works. It's great to see what is working for folks and what's helpful. And you can do it after the rejuvenation as well. So today I wanted to focus on our good old Flathead Lake as a backdrop. And this is mindfulness focusing on happiness. So I hope this resets your day. And thank you so much for attending. And I believe that Desiree put in the chat, if you want to give me feedback, I always want to learn more. So thank you for coming. Here we go. Okay, one sec. I am having a small issue with why this won't share. Okay, it's not sharing today. Well, that's okay because I know how to do this on the fly. So I am going to lead this right now. So everyone just get focused where you are. Allow yourself to just relax into the space that you are. And if it feels good, you can close your eyes. And we're just going to begin by breathing in and out. Again, taking a deep breath in. And as you're getting settled, just allowing yourself to sink into the place that you are, allowing your head to just sink into your neck, sinking into your shoulders, allowing your body to feel held and secure if you're sitting down, and allowing your feet to touch the floor. And I'm going to begin by just doing a grounding sequence from the top of your head, moving down to the floor. So taking a deep breath in, sending that breath to the top of your head, and with that breath, allowing your eyes to just relax, allowing your eyebrows to let go, taking a deep breath in, sending this next breath now down to your face, and just allowing your face muscles to relax. Taking a deep breath in, sending this next breath now down your throat. And with that breath, allowing your throat to open. And with that opening of your throat, allowing your voice to come forward, allowing the air to move through. Taking a deep breath in. Sending this next breath to both shoulders. And with that, allowing your shoulders to just let go. Allowing your shoulders to just relax, letting your arms hang heavy. Allowing your hands to just open up. And just allowing your whole back to just rest into the place you are. Noticing that your spine is strong. Noticing that your back muscles are stable. And you're feeling safe and secure. Taking a deep breath in. Sending this next breath now to your heart area. And with that breath, allowing your heart to open. And with that openness, allowing for more spaciousness in your whole chest. And in this place, noticing calm, noticing that you're feeling relaxed, noticing that your heart is open. Taking a deep breath in. Sending this next breath now down to your sit bones. And with that breath, allowing your sit bones to root into the place that you are. Allowing yourself to feel stable and secure. Taking a deep breath in. Sending this next breath now down both legs. And with that breath, allowing your legs to just relax, letting go of your muscles, letting them just be. And sending gratitude to your muscles and your ligaments and your bones for getting you everywhere you need to be. Taking a deep breath in. Sending this last breath now down to the bottoms of your feet. And with that breath, allowing your feet to connect with the floor, allowing the floor to rise up and connect with the bottom of your feet. And just noticing that you're feeling grounded, you're feeling so stable, you're feeling that you have a foundation for your day that's rooted in peace and calm. And so noticing where that feeling of peace and calm is in your system. I'm going to just invite you to anchor into that space in your body, find where it is. And so we're going to move back into the here and now. But before we do, just setting the intention for your day that you can hold this feeling of calm and peace within you through your day, in the office, with all your connections, with the way you move through the world, all the way till you get in bed tonight, setting that intention to hold this feeling that you can tap back into at any time. And so we're just going to begin by allowing yourself to stretch, maybe put your arms above your head, maybe allow yourself to twist in your chair. And if it feels good to open your eyes, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming. I hope that was helpful. The last video that I did, that will be available too on the resources. So check that out if you are interested in that happiness, mindfulness. And yeah, people are welcome to throw anything in the chat. I see that Leah wrote down that she liked shaking hands with what is. Thanks, Leah, for sharing with that. Yeah, anything else? I'm happy to stay on the call a little bit longer if people have questions. I see there's so many people that I've seen before, and happy that you came today. So again, thank you for coming, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks so much.